Well, hello and welcome to this Moneycontrol live stream. I'm Nandita Khemka. It's a Saturday morning, but I'm here to decode the Reliance Q4 earnings that came out last night. And for that, I have with me my colleague Rachita Prasad, who's been tracking this company for years now. Good morning, Rachita. Good to have you here on a Saturday morning. Well, Reliance reported a fairly strong set of numbers this quarter. Tell us how the overall performance has been for the conglomerate.
Good morning, Nandita. We wrapped up the Reliance result late night yesterday, and here we are talking about it in the morning. Yes, interesting set of
Yeah.
numbers. The company has managed to beat street estimate in terms of the fourth quarter performance. I mean, the net profit contributable to owners is around 19,299 crores, which is up 19%. The street had estimated that it would be around some 16,500 odd crores. So clearly they have managed to beat, the brokerage's expectations. What has happened in this particular quarter, if you see, is it really is a broad-based growth. I mean, all business verticals have performed rather well for Reliance. So that, of course, has helped. Gross revenue from operations is up 2.8%, but the operational performance is really what has kind of helped the company beat street
Hmm.
expectations. If you look at the digital business, there is higher revenue and a strong margin in the business, so that has boosted the operational performance. In the O2C business, there is a bit of a dampener, which was that the downstream chemicals did not perform as well. But overall, the performance was strong enough so that the impact is really not felt very badly. Oil and gas business has had a very strong quarter again, driven by volumes, driven by strong margins. And retail, of course, they have managed to not just expand but improve efficiency on that, and obviously with scale, a lot of things kick in. And so overall, we can't really say that a business has performed better than the other, because it's a very broad based performance, Nandita.
Right, a broad-based performance coming in from Reliance Industries. But since you were mentioning some of these segments very briefly, let's break it down properly and talk about the O2C business first. It was supposed to, have a steady run this time around. So take us through the key highlights of the O2C business and how it has performed per se.
So, Nandita, if you see Reliance's O2C business, which is the oils to chemicals business, and basically it covers the whole spectrum of petrochemicals and everything that they manufacture, from oils to chemicals, as the name suggests. It is a
Mhm.
huge business. And in this particular quarter, if you take the impact of the windfall tax and aside, this business has actually reported its best quarter ever. And what the company said was that there was a bit of a weakness in global demand in some products, but the domestic demand was quite strong. In fact, they have specifically named ATF and kerosene. I mean, some of the segments have performed rather well. So the O2C business overall has performed rather well, and they expect it to remain strong despite the macro situation right now, given the strong demand coming from India.
Right, so that was all about the O2C business. Let's now talk about the energy vertical. Uh, Strong performance there as well, Rachita?
So, see, when we talk about the oil and gas business for Reliance, I mean, of course, we know the history, and they've been trying to scale up production from their KG-D6 basin. Now, this quarter, the interesting thing that happened is two things have come together. They have managed to, I mean, in the last many quarters, the production from KG-D6 has been going up steadily. It's right now at what, 19 MMSCMD, and that's a substantial number. And on this steady, growth in production, they have been able to also witnessed some strong realization, especially on gas. So those two things coming together has really boosted the performance of the oil and gas business. They are expecting, they are expanding, scaling up the production in the KG-D6 basin, and the MJ assets, and they are their statement yesterday said that it's on track, and they expect it to reach 30 mmscmd by the end of this year. So that would be substantial. So volume plus realization, overall a strong quarter for that as well.
Right, so that covers the energy and O2C businesses. But let's also talk about Geo. It has been giving stiff competition to incumbents. It has been steadily gaining market share, and it was supposed to have a steady run this quarter as well. So, how has the Geo end of the business performed this quarter?
So see, Geo, like you said, I mean, of course, it's an interesting story. I mean, it's totally disrupted the market. And on Geo, the one interesting thing that has been happening is, of course, that they have been able to grow the subscriber base. Also, I mean, if you look at that coupled with the improvement in average revenue per unit, which is the ARPU, a very important number for this business, that has also improved substantially in this business. So overall, strong quarter on that front. They have been rolling out the 5G connections in parts of the country, and the aim is to kind of have an all India coverage by the end of this year, by December. So that is something that we'll have to watch out for, but it seems to be on track. The other thing that has done well in this quarter is the fiber to home that they are really pushing quite a bit, and the rollout is on track, and they're quite bullish on how that business will perform. So that again is a story in making, but so far the performance has been on track. Nandita.
Right, performance on track for Geo as well. But let's also talk about the retail end of the business. They have been expanding digitally as well as where physical stores are concerned. How has this business fared in terms of footfalls, and what is the outlook they have painted when it comes to the future as well?
So see, Reliance's retail strategy, of course, is two-pronged. I mean, they are looking at the brick and mortar, assets, and of course the digital expansion. On both account, they have expanded quite a bit in terms of the number of stores added. If I'm not wrong, in this financial year, they have added over 3,000. I'm sorry, I'm not sure about the number right now, but it's a big number. And more than that, what has happened is that their digital presence in the commercial market has really been strong. They have been adding products, they have been adding brands, and across the value chain they have value for money brands, and they have managed to add some very international brands as well. So that is definitely a space that they're looking at very closely. In fact, the management was talking to media yesterday, and they kept saying that we are looking at we have been scaling up rapidly, and that is going to be the strategy. So they are really that is something that is going on full speed, whether it's the store outlets or the digital expansion of retail. And again, if you look at the retail business as such, the interesting thing, Nandita, this time is that again, even within the digital space, it's a very broad based growth across all consumption baskets. So that's a very good sign in terms of how consumers are, it gives you an idea on the spending habits, and kind of gives you some comfort on what's happening in the economy. So overall, a good quarter there, and again the expansion continues. So we'll have to see which way they are headed. Nandita.
Right, we discussed all those segments in details, but now let's also talk about the future outlook. There has been a lot of turmoil in the energy market globally, especially since the Russia-Ukraine war broke out. So, has the management given any color as to how the energy business is expected to shape up, given the turmoil that we are witnessing globally?
You're right. I mean, the energy market has been a roller coaster ride. I mean, it's just, one day, no 2 days have been similar in the last 1 year or so. And in case of Reliance, what gives them an edge over some of the others is that their refineries have very high flexibility. So even if you look at this particular
Hmm.
quarter, because of that flexibility, they are able to manage the feedstock very well. They are able to kind of tweak what feedstock they are using, and they're also able to tweak what products are going in what volumes depending on how
Hmm.
the cracks are at that point of time. So that has worked to their advantage, but of course we have to keep a close eye on the macro situation. And Reliance management was talking to media yesterday, and their chief financial officer Shrikant kind of said that the global gas market may continue to be volatile, and they don't expect that to stabilize anytime soon. But interestingly, he said that they have a positive outlook on the Indian market, at least in the medium term. So that gives us some comfort. The other thing that he kind of cautioned on was, OPEC cutting supply. I mean, as a result of that, if the prices remain high, it could have an impact on demand. So that was one kind of caution that he gave. And of course, the other things to watch out for would be export from China, how that pans out, and of course, how demand plays into that would be an interesting story. One more thing that he cautioned about again was that if there is a contraction in demand by EU and US going ahead, I mean,
Hmm.
we know that macros are, everybody's watching them very closely right now. But if there is a contraction in demand, then it may have an impact on downstream products for export for Indian companies like Reliance. So that is again a story in making. We'll have to see how that pans out. But overall, personally, I feel the interesting thing was that even though they think that global markets continue to be a little choppy and turbulent, the domestic demand seems to be strong.
Right. Domestic demand seems to be intact. My last question to you, Rachita, anything to look forward to by way of expansion, or what should one be watching out for in terms of their expansion plans in the coming quarters?
So, Nandita, Reliance typically doesn't make any big bang announcements in the quarterly results. I mean, that's been the trend. Most of their big announcements actually come during the AGM, which will happen later this year. And of course, we will keep a close eye on that, and we'll tell you everything that comes out of that. Having said that, the interesting thing that they mentioned this time, of course, which is something the market is also very closely watching, is the financial services arm. I mean, the NBFC, what happens to that? So they really didn't talk much about it, but the general expectation is there will be some action on that front. So we'll be tracking it. Let's see how soon they make an announcement on that. The other thing, of course, to watch out for would be the 5G rollout. They have spoken about having a pan India presence by December, and let's see how that rolls out. I mean, so far they have been adding different geographical regions one after the other, so that should be on track, hopefully. And then again, the other interesting thing to watch out for would be the geo and retail IPO. I mean, market has been waiting for a
Been
long
waiting
time
for
for
it for
that.
quite some time. Yeah.
Yeah. In fact, last year's AGM, people were expecting that there would be a big bang announcement, and then Mr. Ambani just said that we'll give you some details in the next AGM.
Hmm.
So we don't know if he will
Right.
announce an IPO or he will give a timeline, but maybe there will be an update in the AGM.
Hmm.
And of course, the one interesting thing about expansion that the company said was that that their strategy is going to be that they are going to maintain very strict financial discipline, and whatever expansion they do would be primarily from internal accruals. This is what CFO Shrikant said yesterday, and that's going to be the strategy. And interestingly enough, what he said is that in the last decade or so, we have made a lot of capital allocation to new businesses, right, like geo and retail, and that has
Right.
kind of turned the company from a pure play energy company conglomerate to a very consumer centric company. So what the other interesting thing he said is that the next wave of capital investment that will be done by the company will be in green energy, which is something that they have already
Right.
announced and they are working
They've
on
already
that.
announced. Yeah.
Exactly. And he said that, this will not just help us achieve our net zero goal, which we are aiming to do by 2035, but this will also be the next round, next big driver for earnings. So that's going to be the next big story, and we'll keep a close eye on that. Nandita.
Right, we will be keeping a close eye on that. Well, that was all about Reliance's fourth quarter performance. Rachita, thanks a lot for taking out time and explaining the
Thank you.
numbers to us in details. But with that, it's a wrap on this Money Control live stream. Have a great weekend. Rachita, you too. It's a festive one. So don't forget to enjoy this one. But for the rest of our viewers, I'll be back at 8:30 a.m. with morning trade on Monday. So don't forget to tune in. But for now, it's a wrap from us. Thanks a lot for watching.